Alrighty, good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, and welcome back everybody to a bit more Secret of Mana. Solo Cactus Challenge run where we're just punching everything we can. Well, as much as we can anyways. Welcome to you, Quasical. Welcome to you, Northrex. Welcome to you, Berthus. Welcome to you, Demonic Demon. And welcome to you, Jeff, for over on the YouTube side of things. Welcome everybody, welcome back to a bit more of this game. I'm just gonna start a timer so I don't forget about it. And last time we left off, we just managed to get to the Pure Lands, defeated a big worm that was rather elusive initially. But now, well, this is gonna be probably arguably the tricky part coming up here. Because these dragons here are no joke to take down. So, in short, while they are hovering like this, we can hit them. This is not a problem. The problem arises when they start flying away. Depending on your position, they will more or less decide to sometimes fly away, sometimes they don't, and they are really awkward to try and defeat because of it. Mostly because you see these surrounding areas here, like the rocks or cliffs or whatever you want to call it. The problem is that when the dragons are hovering over these, I cannot hit them with melee attacks. Then the next problem is, you might have just seen it, where it's like, oh, do they have evasion? Yes, they do have evasion. But there's actually another problem as to, oh, that actually hits, that's nice. There's another problem as to how I can possibly hit these guys to begin with. And that's, when they are casting a spell, like a straight up spell that I could cast as well as a player, if I had the Strike of the Lady spell arsenal, then they are gonna be invulnerable before my punch can possibly reach them. And they are invulnerable during this entire casting animation. Freeze Breath here is generally speaking rather fine. We can just preemptively remedy ourselves so the snowman status doesn't affect us. But then subsequently trying to hit this thing is a challenge. And this might be like one of my few ways to combat this. So now, if I stand here, there is a decent chance he's just gonna stay. I don't know if actually is a chance or what the exact conditions are, to be honest. Let me actually use Moonsaber, so at least whenever I do hit, I heal back up. And then I need mana recovery. Freeze Breath again, it will turn me into a snowman. This guy also hits decently hard, so even though we have good defenses, we are going to get hit by his attacks. Then I need a Fairy Walnut to recover my mana. Good time of the day to you as well, Dark Paladin. Welcome, hope you're doing well. This might hit. Nice, the get up attack here is massive. But you also might have noticed that we didn't heal. And that's because the status effect from the Freeze Breath turned us into a snowman, even if it didn't hit visually. And getting turned into a snowman effectively removes our weapon buff. The reason for that is actually as simple as it is silly. Can you also use this? If our weapon, if we equip any other weapon, our weapon buff gets removed. And this snowman here, the way the game is programmed, enemies or characters actually equip the snowman as a weapon, and that functionally means that we are exchanging our weapon that we currently have equipped with. Anyways, this guy doesn't cast Freeze all that frequently, so for the most part, we have a decent chance of hitting him. Plus, while there is a bunch of like cliff faces around the area, it's actually quite alright. And as you can see, if I have Lucid Barrier active, I was able to just deny the physical damage from the wing attack, and able to just straight up hit him afterwards. So as long as I have Lucid Barrier active and he doesn't use Freeze Breath, my charge attack might actually hit him pretty well here. But the problem is Freeze Breath, even if I deny the damage with Lucid Barrier, it's just gonna turn him into a snowman. In fact, even if I were to deny the damage fully with just armor and not just Freeze Breath, I would in fact get turned into a snowman anyways, guaranteed. Because when you have Lucid Barrier denying damage, for whatever reason, the status effect is actually guaranteed to land afterwards. Alright, more Freeze Breath on me. Let's just remove that. Hey Don Ozer, yeah. Hope you're doing well today. Oh, I've worked up too early. When he does the tail swipe, that is actually the ideal scenario, because that one I can physically dodge by just walking away. However, I can only really do this from when he comes from above, because the tail swipe is like directionally based. So he will not actually use it if I well, if he approaches me from below. But here, he actually has a decent chance to use his tail swipe right here. He did not use it. But as you can see with the Breath Wing, our getting up attack seems to just mostly land. The tail swipe might hit me, I like to feel. I actually have no idea what the hitbox of that thing is. It seems to be massive considering it did get hit last time. And also now he's flying away diagonally. This is a bit awkward. And Freeze, here literally I could not hit him because he was gonna be invulnerable casting a spell before I ever get my attack to connect with him. Freeze Breath again. Unfortunately this will remove my Lucid Barrier, even though I will technically deny the damage. Because Lucid Barrier is still level 0. We probably have to go and train Lucid Barrier up for at least the Red Dragon. For at least a while. Just so it absorbs more than just like one hit of damage. Because right now it absorbs not a whole lot of damage, all things considered. Swipe? Nah. Okay. Here was probably already above the cliff face, so I couldn't actually hit him, but I'm not entirely sure about that. Freeze Breath again. The Freeze Breath does not cost him any MP, so he can just do this indefinitely whenever he feels like it. Hey, Badlockar, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. Okay, tail swipe, and then I can hit him while he's still here, and if he doesn't cast Freeze, or Breath Wing, I guess, I will be able to hit him a second time. I think Breath Wing also briefly makes him invulnerable, so I couldn't actually deal any damage there. Let's use a candy here. Mostly because that's a faster animation. Freeze is okay, as long as I can deny the damage. Now if he comes from above, I'm gonna try... oh. Right. I'm gonna try and bait him into the tail swipe attack. So I might be able to hit him again if he's using Breath Wing. There we go. I'm not gonna be able to hit, but this works actually quite okay. I'm pretty sure that couldn't hit, but you know, sometimes you need to try anyways. Alright, 6 more guaranteed critical hits thanks to Lunar Energy. I'm pretty sure it's a futile effort for me to try and attack him from above. But again, sometimes you just need to keep trying. That still hit me, but Lucid Barrier absorbed the damage. Ow. And we might as well... actually, let's just wait until he arrives. And then we heal up afterwards. It's gonna probably turn me... oh no, that's the balloon ring. He doesn't use that all that often. Breath Wing is annoying, but when getting up we actually just hit him just in time, which is nice. Another Breath Wing. Let me actually just become invulnerable by casting a spell myself, and also check how much HP you have. I wonder if either... oh, he has like no HP remaining. There we go, 1 punch remained. Alrighty, so I think I would like to level up Lucid Barrier. There's a very easy way for us to go and do that. Also, maybe I should grind out some levels as well. But that might be kind of difficult to do. Okay, cannot call Flammy here. So we defeat the dragon. Next is going to be the Axe Beak, if I'm not mistaken. That one is going to be a bit annoying, but actually not nearly as annoying as the dragons with melee attacks. Although I will preferably have access to ranged weapons with projectiles like the javelin or the bow. But no such luxury is afforded for me. because we are just punching everything, or trying anyways. So I predict the red dragon to be quite tricky. Next up, let's go just to the traditional grind spot. Actually, do I want to level grind first? I don't think we really need levels in terms of like character levels. I think it's time to just keep going. But I do want magic levels. So we're going over to the Wind Palace. Where's the office? The Wind Palace over here. This is, for whatever reason, considered a combat zone, which means our weapons are drawn, which means we do get full experience from casting spells in here. And it's a very convenient way to just recover our mana on top of it. So what we can do is we can pygmy ourselves, so our spellcasts are going to be slightly faster. And then we just cast Lucid Barrier on ourselves. If we still had the sprite or the boy, it would be faster to just cast the spells on them, because then we wouldn't need to wait until the spell animation finishes, but... well, we already turned this into a true solo character challenge, so this is what we're given. I think maybe Lucid Barrier level 4 or even level 5 might be what we're going for. From level 0 to level 1 it is 12 spell casts. From level 1 to level 2 it is 13, then it's 15, then 17, and then 20. Because you gain initially 9 experience for level 0 to level 1. And then you need to get to 100 experience to level up, so to speak. So this means at from level 1 to level 2 you get 8 experience. So 13 times 8 is more than 100. Then you need get 7 experience. 7 times 15 is 105. And then you get 17 times 6. And then 20 times 5. So this is gonna take a bit, but as you could see, those dragons can be annoying, and that was the easiest of the bunch. Actually, that's not true. I would argue the Thunder Dragon ends up being the easiest one. Then again, sometimes you can actually convince the Snow Dragon to just stay in place without just moving away from you the entire time. But I couldn't quite figure it out this time. But then again, I also didn't have enough maximum HP or Lucid Barrier levels to actually tank his physical hits anyways. So I'm not sure how useful that would have been. Did we upgrade our weapon to level 7? Can we do that? No, I didn't do that yet. Alrighty, Lucid Barrier level 2. There's actually an argument to be made to go outside of Kakara for magic training, because as it stands, every time I heal up my mana, I also have to reapply the pygmy status in order to cast spells quicker. Outside of Kakara, I could just eat a fairy walnut 4 times. And then go run into Kakara, buy more fairy walnuts, and then just keep running outside and cast spells. Kakara mostly because the shop is literally right outside, so you don't have to go through an additional screen transition to go and buy stuff. Did I pick up the orb in the Grand Palace? Ah yeah. I actually don't remember if I upgraded this or not. There's a reasonable chance I didn't. That's a good point. Also, I guess there is another argument to be made to go and grind a few levels before we do this magic grind. If I have more maximum mana, then I can cast spells, well, for longer before we run out of MP. Anyways, I was gonna be here for a bit. Not the most enthralling gameplay, but it does help us a lot for just survivability in the future as well, because the amount of damage the shield absorbs is getting more and more massive with every level. Like, it is a very significant jump for each level on how much damage they absorb. Let me fix you up. Shall I save your game? Nope. And Tic-Tac-Throw, thank you. Thank you kindly for 86 months of support. That's quite a long time. Welcome back. And I'm glad you enjoy your stay. I hope you're doing well today. Thank you kindly. Let's go to level 5. I think that's alright. We get 8 spell casts with each full set of mana recovery here. And now we gain 20 spellcast total, so if I can cast it 4 times here, number 2. Actually, that's gonna be exactly enough, isn't it? Nice. So we need to refill our mana 2 more times and empty it again 2 more times, and I think then we're gonna be level 5. Hey Arcana Magic, welcome. Hope you're doing well today. One more set. And there it is, level 5 Lumina. Let's cast Lucid Barrier one more time before full mana. And Stone Saber as well. I actually wonder whether using defense up actually might have been beneficial against the dragon earlier. I didn't even consider that. Technically, the more defense I have, the more 25% of an increase actually is going to make a huge difference. I've never tried that against the enemies in the Pure Lands, to be completely honest. Maybe that's actually pretty good, who knows? Well, I sure don't, because I've never tried it. Alrighty, back to the Pure Lands we go. I will probably just knock out a bunch of enemies along the way. There's not really anything I want from the enemy drops, even though they do have quite a bunch of interesting drops on their tables. But for the most part, there's just not really much. I'm not gonna knock out the mushrooms. Mushrooms? No mushrooms, the other ones. The hedgehogs. Because those cannot be petrified. And my petrification weapon is basically my strongest way of dealing damage, since it reduces enemies' HP by half before they take damage. Which is also why petrified enemies fall over rather quickly. There's not really a reason for me to go and pick up the chest from these various enemies. I just like to. I think they can... Actually, can the mushrooms be petrified? They might be immune. There's 3 hits now. Okay, I think the mushrooms cannot be petrified. Because that is very unlikely to not petrify an enemy that can be petrified in 4 hits. Even the knockout hit there would have given us the status message that the enemy would have been petrified. Anyways, we just punch the feet, or the griffin hands, I guess. We're punching these guys. And our thing has run off. By the way, this weapon here, having a chance to poison enemies, is kind of silly, because poison is okay damage in the early game, but after that it is entirely negligible whether an enemy inflicts it on you or you on an enemy. One punch girl. One punch, many kicks. What are your spell levels? What are my spell levels? My spell levels look like this. We have soon to be 5 Gnome, soon to be 5 on Dini, 5 on some change on Luna, and 5 now on Lumina. What's the ultimate armor upgrade for Purim? You can get... Oh, chest. There's no reason for me to pick it up, I just want to... Actually, I need to make sure the enemies don't bother me, so let's crowd control them. Actually, this is gonna crowd control me, I'm a dingus. Because this guy just cast a wall and reflected a spell. Good thing he's stuck on the terrain. Hey, that's silly. Right. I will assume that my analyzer level is not high enough for this chest. So we're gonna have a 50-50... Oh no, it is! Level 3 is enough for Griffin Hands? Anyways. It's gonna be chocolate most of the time. The rare drop would be a Griffin helmet. Unfortunately, we cannot equip it. That would be an amazing piece of equipment, because it does give +5 strength. So the best armor we can technically get is the one in the Mana Fortress. I think the Terminator's drop, it has a common drop. I'm not mistaken. Chocolate won't fit, girl is too fat. Nah. I don't think she is. Wouldn't that be kind of backwards? She doesn't have enough space. She's too lean. Thanks for the defense up. Sometimes these these eggplant men just give you the buff, and it's a bit strange. But they just randomly do that. That's just how it is. Also, I forgot to reapply my weapon buff. These goats, of course, we cannot hit. But the ice ducks, we can absolutely hit. He just enchanted the bones of his body with an ice element. I respect it, but it's not useful. Alright. Last 6 guaranteed critical hits. Girl, her too useless. I don't see any other useless dudes around here. They're all gone. They have left. Anyways, welcome to Axbeak. This guy's gonna be annoying. Actually, you know what? I just realized wall actually might be helpful to bounce back spells. It's rather costly, but technically have I ever used wall in the Solar Cactus challenge? I don't actually know. Well, I guess the big problem is I can't buff myself anymore when I have wall, because it's gonna hit the boss instead. Okay. Unfortunately, that was a miss. I'm still gonna miss like 30% of the time when I hit with physical attacks or attack with physical attacks. Sonic Pulse. And they were resisted that just fine. And you just hit yourself with Lava Wave for 1 damage. He resists fire, so Lava Wave not being the strongest spell. He's gonna jump back down. Nice hit. This guy has, I think, just under 3000 HP, if I'm not mistaken. Gonna come back. So 3 of these charge attacks would do the trick, or 3 charge attacks and some punches. Oh, okay, so my wall bore up. That's actually good, because now I can use Moon Energy again. And you just tried to Lava Wave me, but I was casting a spell. Not even trying to cancel that damage, it just happened. Let's use Lucid Barrier again. He also used Fire Bouquet, which means my attack power is actually reduced because of it. Sleep Gas. Wait, that was supposed to put me to sleep. Am I immune to being put to sleep? I don't think I am. Alright, jump backwards. Thank you. Nice. But yeah, the Fire Bouquet reducing attack power is 25% of your attack power is just gone. Jump up. Nice. Flying kick in the butt. And we sent the big chicken flying. Bring. She wasn't done with her charge attack yet, so needed to go and do that. I'll actually check real quick. Can I upgrade this thing? No, I actually did upgrade it apparently, according to my thing here. So, unfortunately we have to switch over to a Weed Whacker weapon. So either the sword or... the axe would do the trick there. Alrighty, and besides that... Oh, this is not a combat zone, is it? Yeah, I'm gonna get reduced magic experience here. That's okay. Let's buff up. And then we head over to what might be the most annoying boss fight. Although I'm kind of thinking maybe Wall could help against that guy. Just to bounce back spells. I don't know if it will help, because I'm not sure how we're gonna handle him, but let's see. What? Koopa fact of the day. There's a condition in which your body can brew alcohol in your gut called autobrewery syndrome, which can make you drunk without having a drink. Oh, that sounds annoying. Anyways, welcome to the Red Dragon. If I stand here, hopefully he doesn't move. Come back! And while he is in this attack animation, I can't hit him anyways. Sleep Ring. Can I just lock in place by using Analyzer? Anyways, welcome to Red Dragon. This is the big problem, boss. I don't know if I can reasonably defeat this guy. Like, I'm pretty sure he was entirely immune for the entire duration of my attack, because he attacks based on proximity. And my reach of the weapon is just straight up not large enough. I'm gonna get the Northern Flames, because even though we did 90 damage, Lucid Barrier guarantees that we get hit by the fire effect anyways. Sleep Ring should do the same thing actually, but for some reason we are not getting put to sleep. I'm actually surprised about that. So I can only realistically hit this guy after he finishes his spell. And the problem is right now that he is hovering above like high ground, so I just can't hit him because of that to begin with. Has 2 spells repelled. So frequently I will not be able to hit this guy at all. 2 spells repelled. I think there's a 3rd one in wall level 0. I'm actually not sure about that. Let's try to lure him over here, maybe if I can. Okay, he goes diagonal. Okay, my Lucid Berry has run out. I don't want to cast Loose Ball. What I can do is, I guess I can... Well, if I give him crits, that's also a problem, isn't it? I guess I can check whether... Also giving the Stone Saber is not much better, is it? Okay, I think the wall wore off, so I think it only reflects 2 spells in that case. So let's grab Lucid Barrier again. It's only gonna get engulfed in flames. Oh, that's alright. Actually, it does remove our Stone Saber, so we don't get a little bit of damage boost. I don't know if we can hit him at this angle. He might be just over the outside today. This actually feels like a good location to be able to try and hit him. So let's try to keep him on this line. Let's see, can I get him to Tail Swipe? I think I attacked too early. Let's use Wall. Then have him here. Cast a spell, repel magic. I'm unable to deal extra damage to him, and I don't know why. He might be invulnerable because of high shenanigans right now, but I don't know if that's correct or not. Oh, we're gonna kill him. Oh, well, I healed him. That's undoing all of the damage. This is another reason why I don't usually use wall. Also, he went sideways instead. I don't think that's any better. We could run him out of mana, like eventually. But hitting him is such a big problem. And I don't have a way to become... Well, that's not technically true. I could become immune to being engulfed in flames. The problem is that it's a low-level accessory, where we would then subsequently take way too much damage. I just cannot hit this guy, literally. I think I've used the whip before and it kind of worked because the whip has, of course, significant... Oh, we hit him! We hit him once! Okay, so at least we know now, guaranteed, he's not bugged out. So that's good news. Conundrum is, of course, then just trying to hit him. Also, I just walled myself, so I can't give myself critical hits. There we go, we hit him once. Okay, then we hit him again. I couldn't hit him there, because he was in a tail swipe attack, so he was invulnerable for the time being. I don't need mana. Dragon have the best enemy design in Seal of Mana. It's certainly very memorable. Okay, we have a good line here, where we can actually repeatedly hit him before he moves up or casts a spell. Then when he does cast a spell, we can try to chain in extra physical damage at the end of his attack. But actually, no, he's still in the spellcasting animation, so he's still invulnerable, which is the problem. Also, the thing has run out. Okay, I accidentally moved him slightly to the side here. Let's see if we can still hit him. Okay, we can still hit him, that's good. now there he might be over the edge where we can't hit him. I probably should activate Lucid Barrier because we have to wait until he does something anyways. I think we can hit him around here, where he's not above high ground yet. But as soon as he moves a little bit up, he's gonna be on top of the side area also. That's gonna hit me. Engulf me in flames. I would rather if that didn't happen. I think Lucid Barrier is still active for a little bit. That's not the healing item I meant to use. That's okay. Breathing is fine. We hit him when he's around here. Or try to. We do still have like a 30% chance to straight up miss. That's just how it is. But we can hit him when he's around here. Or try to. Fire breath, very annoying. What HP do you have remaining? Okay, we are almost halfway through his HP. That's actually good news. We actually, our get up attack might get him. He does. Okay. Fortunately, I think he is not hittable there. Sleep Ring we can resist, right? Yes. Oh, and I hit him. Nice. Okay, I have to deny his damage here, no matter what, so have to Lucid Barrier, and I think I'm gonna be too slow now. That's alright. I hope I still have a critical hit left, because this seems to be a good line where we can hit him. So I actually didn't expect to be able to hit him when he's flying in with such a short range weapon. But it appears that we can still do it, specifically when he comes from below. I just need to make sure I'm not trying to hit him too early. He needs to be not... like, I think his shadow needs to be not above the high terrain. So maybe around here. Okay, that still hit. I felt like... well, his shadow is just slightly outside of the wall below, so maybe that's why. That also hit. Now I think I will not be able to hit him. Oh, no I can. This is good. Now he was invulnerable right there. Sleep Ring is gonna hit. That's okay. We're gonna heal. So I hope my Lucid Barrier is still going to last a little bit. Stop here. Did not. Might still be able to hit him. Nope, he was still... he is already above the outside wall. I think if I cast Lucid Barrier, it's gonna be too slow. So I'm gonna wait here. Too early. I think that was too early. Exploder costs 4 MP, by the way, if you wanna keep track of mana. Fireball is 2. Lava Wave is 3. Okay. I don't think I've ever hit him when he came from above, have I? So I wonder whether he might just be permanently considered high ground for some reason, or it's just bad coincidence. Fire Breath is a bit annoying. That's okay. I think that actually might have removed my Lucid Barrier though, so... we should... oh, can I still heal? Okay, it did remove my Lucid Barrier. Okay, we actually hit him. Never mind, I was wrong. I like being wrong in these cases. So, we wanna heal up. In fact, I actually probably wanna stay around here. So, he hits me, then starts flying away, and then his hitbox hopefully becomes active again. Did not hear. Unless I missed, I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know if I've... oh, we got him, nice. I don't know if I can't physically hit him because of height shenanigans, or whether he's briefly invulnerable because he's using an ability or a spell that doesn't have a hurt box during that time, or what's exactly the thing. It's just kind of like, it's really awkward to hit these guys. Unless you're using a bow or javelin. Those two weapons deal with them really well. Boom, indeed. Alrighty, good news everybody. We managed to get past what I would have considered the biggest hurdle for the rest of the game. There's still one more dragon, but the arena is entirely flat, so it's significantly easier usually to hit him anyways. You got a glove orb? Actually didn't even pay attention. Let's go and upgrade our glove. Nice. If I just hold down and B, do we land in the Kakara village? Do I say the oasis? Because it works the other way around. It does, actually. That's fun. I didn't know that. Anyways, we upgrade from the Griffin class to the Dragon class. Now for reference, if you play normally, you cannot normally have a Dragon claw at this point in the game. You would normally only just upgrade to the Griffin claw right now. But due to the nature of us guaranteed getting critical hits... Actually, why am I buying Cups of Wishes? I literally can't use them. Due to the nature of us guaranteeing critical hits and such, it actually doesn't make a huge difference whether we have to upgrade the weapons or not. It does make a little bit of a difference, but for the most part, not really. Alrighty, very nice. Now we run through the pure ones. Are we going to punch a bunch of werewolves? Actually, I will say, let's get 2 Wolf Lord chests. Or maybe 3, and see if we get lucky with the last glove orb. Again, they are entirely unnecessary with the lady guaranteeing critical hits with her spells. But it's kind of just fun to go for it. What happens to the other characters? Did they pass on to the other side? Well, we sent them to Snowman's Land vacation resort. So they are taking a nice holiday somewhere, wherever Snowman's Land may be. Sometimes you just keep missing. She packs a punch, and a kick, and another punch. Punch's skill up is level 7 now. Constantly dying is tiresome indeed. So in short, what actually happened, in case anyone is curious, is too lazy to go back in the VOD, understandable. We used the properties of a snowman, which, well, let's put it this way. Normally you cannot move or act or do anything as a snowman. Consequently, the game hasn't really planned anything for snowmen to be able to have animations for. So, because we can briefly walk around as a snowman, I was able to move into a group of enemy blobs after they froze us, and pushing to the top right as a snowman removes the character from the party for some weird reason. So effectively, you get your character frozen by a blue blob, wait a little bit, like a second or so, use a medical herb on them, switch to that character, then push into the blue blobs or any other pushable entity towards the top right, and suddenly the character is going to Snowman's Land permanently. Weird glitchy interaction indeed. And since we don't need them anymore for anything, for the most part it doesn't make a difference whether they are present or not. However, sometimes when the boy is just gone, he can actually still technically influence some boss battles, because some bosses reset their height value occasionally during combat. And if the boy just happened to have a height value or elevation value, whatever you want to call it, frozen in time because he's no longer with us. You can actually make bosses unhittable because of that. At least I think that's what happens. I'm actually really not sure about that. If somebody would like to investigate why that happens, well, be my guest. I don't know how to do that. But basically I think Moppleton, who is the creator of the randomizer for Secret of Mana, when I asked him, that's kind of the answer I received. Alrighty, so welcome to the Thunder Gigas. This Gigas is arguably the strongest one, or the scariest in any capacity, because he has an ability called Blitz Breath, which is an extremely heavy-hitting physical attack. Like, it sounds very magical, but realistically it is physical in nature. And it hits like a truck. It will one-shot us if it hits us without Lucid Barrier up. However, he's also like the one boss of the Gigas family where we now have Luna to guarantee critical hits. So his attacks and abilities are significantly less dangerous. Also, thank you for the Thunder Saber. This actually increases my damage slightly more than the Earth Saber. Because, and I have mentioned this a few times before, oh, there's Blitz Breath. Lucid Barrier saved us. Basically, elemental weapons in Secret of Mana do not actually deal elemental damage. So him giving us a level 7 Thunder Saber just gives us the base damage increase any elemental saber gives us for free, which is very nice of him. I actually don't know how much damage you gain from elemental weapons. It's like a tiny boost to your damage output. And we missed. I think he also usually single target casts spells, so he is once again not as nearly as dangerous as the Fire Gigas or the Ice Gigas because of that. 2 misses. At least I think that's true. Yeah, 26 damage is very survivable for us. Silence is confusing, because it does confuse your character, inverting your controls, but it also means that you can no longer, well, do anything in the meantime. Anyways, I'd like to not get murdered by Blitz Breath. You can also just use the Mage Mallet twice to not take any damage from Blitz Breath. I was not convinced that my Lucid Barrier was still up sufficiently to survive a Blitz Breath, which is why I used the Mage Mallet there to deny the damage instead. 3 misses. It's gonna give me sabers again. Oh, nice of you. Sometimes I feel like elemental sabers might reduce your chance to hit against the corresponding bosses, but I'm pretty sure they don't. Although this guy might be one of those that resets his position or his height value, elevation value. No, I can literally not hit him anymore. Because right here, there's a high chance of us just hitting, and we've now missed 3 times. Ooh. Well, many times in a row, really. So it's entirely possible he is unhittable there. It also might be that we technically accidentally spawned him on high elevation. But also, I'm pretty sure we cannot physically hit this guy anymore. There is one fix we can do in order to solve that. And that is casting a spell at him to deal damage that way. This is a punch-only challenge, but sometimes the enemies refuse to get punched. And the only fix is a brief intermission of a little bit of burn. This is not going to deal any meaningful damage, but it is going to allow us to actually hit him again. I think at least. Let's see if I'm correct or not. Yep, now I could hit him again. I mean, we got to see the level 7 charge attack for the first time, so that's nice. Missed again. Let's breath. I think my Lucid Barrier might be out. Clean 999. That's, by the way, the highest damage roll you can possibly get in this game. And he might be invulnerable again, because he just missed twice in a row, although that is... Missing twice in a row is reasonably likely. It's not that crazy. Once it gets to 3, 4, 5 times in a row, that's when it gets unlikely. Okay, ignore it. I'm just kind of thinking, oh, is he invulnerable again? Maybe no, maybe no. No, it's just the standard chance for us to miss. And that's just what it is. The boy should have like an 80-85% chance to hit enemies at this point, but the lady does not get nearly as much agility, so her chance to hit isn't nearly as good. Still much better than it used to be at the beginning of the game. Just twice in a row again. Actually, does the level 7 charge attack hit enemies as a projectile? Hold up, if I charge up to level 7... No, we missed again. Yeah, okay, I'm pretty sure now he is invulnerable once more, so... We'll have to convince him to touch the ground instead of floating 100 meters above us. By virtue of gifting him a fire bouquet. He's not gonna appreciate it, but what else am I gonna do? This is the consequence of deleting the boy from the party, I'm pretty sure. Although sometimes Hexes does that even in regular play, in speedruns, so I might be wrong about that. Oh. Well. Yeah. At least you could see how much damage the Lucid Barrier would prevent. I was not careful enough. Rip in peace. Rest in pepperonis. I've been so careful the entire battle, and then just like, ah, surely my Lucid Barrier is still active. Nope. Oh no. Oh no indeed. Hey big fella. Flies away immediately. Oh, gives me time to set up a Lucid Barrier. And moving down the 2. That is 6 guaranteed critical hits. Thunderbolt. That's fine. His ground slime does do physical damage in that scenario. Yeah, that's fine by me. Nice. Okay, we just wait here. Thanks for the buff. I'm just gonna stay on this, like, position. Seems like he doesn't bug out for now if I stay here, maybe. Nice hit. Okay, that's fine. The level 1 charge attack did significantly less damage earlier than this one. Anyways, Lucid Barrier back up, just in case. And silence once more, that's alright. Right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Now I'm getting confused. That was way too late. I think that might have been able to hit, but there's a high chance it didn't have a chance to hit him. Oh. Because the barrier was still active. We're fine. problem is, if he uses one here, I'm not going to be able to get back in time, am I? Okay, if he Blitz Breath there, actually might have been dead. So that was a bit more dangerous than it needed to be. Okay, Lucid Barrier back up. And how much HP do you have remaining? 1176 damage, so one more full charge attack and one extra punch will actually do the trick here. Well, that's if I have enough crits remaining. Okay. And I would prefer if it didn't deal that much damage. I think this still actually depletes my Lucid Barrier, so I'm going to re-establish it here. Even though I functionally denied the damage, I think the interaction with Lucid Barrier still happens right there. And that is 2 misses in a row. That is 3 misses in a row. When we get to, well, that was 5. When we get to 5, I will probably just do this, and also we're going to just deny. Oh, he didn't cast a spell. Deny all the damage he would do there. Lucid Barrier back up. I think we have to Firebook him once again. He forgot where he is, and instead of being on the ground, he's hovering 100 meters above our heads right now. Probably. I think that hit him. At least it sounded like it hit him. So this might ground him again. And the funny thing is, I'm pretty sure Firebook here reduced the damage he did with the Blitz Breath right there. I'm not sure if this actually had a chance to hit him right there, or not. Okay, it did. Right, we can hit him again. Good news, everybody. One more of these and we are done here. Did I put Lucid Barrier back up? I don't know. Just gonna punch, and then put it back up here now. Well, buddy. It feels like I can't hit him after I use a level 6 charge attack frequently. Level 6 being the whirlwind attack there. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I'm pretty sure he's once again floating above our heads or something. Or maybe he's 100 meters inside the ground. That's also plausible. Go. As soon as we light a fire under his butt, he's hittable again. I believe this is the last boss where that's actually gonna be a concern about the elevation thing. Probably because of his teleport stuff, I would guess. But I don't really know. Anyways, I think we actually have the capability of leveling up our glove to level 8 at this point. So I suggest we do a short grinding session and also gain some extra levels for a bit of additional buffer right here, because there's always these 3 Poseidon enemies here. Sometimes the Acid Storm, but for the most part they don't really cast any spells that does that good to damage us. And because they can be petrified, they're pretty easy pickings for us. And they should give full experience for my weapon right now. By the way, if an enemy is lower level than you, they only give half the weapon experience. But I'm pretty sure these enemies are higher level than me, so we should be able to get full weapon experience from them. By the way, half weapon experience running down. So receiving half weapon experience is particularly annoying when half is 3. Well, half of 3 is 1.5, rounded down to 1. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright. Once again, Petrification reduces the enemy's current HP by half, and then they take the damage from the physical hit. Which is why it is so incredibly strong to use. It's also just nice for crowd control too, I suppose. But I'm actually mostly using it just for its damaging properties. Petri Bunch. Unfortunately, Petrification is not guaranteed to land. But we can one-shot these guys now. If we get both a crit, a high roll crit anyways, and a Petrification in the same attack. Of course, we can also just straight up miss. And once again, low rolls. Leader's refusing to let me demonstrate the high roll one-shot. Actually, is that true? Can we get to level 8? Yes, we can. It says it's effective against dragons. Type effectiveness against types of enemies does not work in this game. It does nothing. But as you can see, we can one-shot them. We get a high roll crit Petrification. We also should be leveling up Luna to level 6 sometime soon, I would guess. Is there a way to make the critical buff from Luna magic not run out? If you remember correctly, there's a glitch in Secret of Evermore to make a temporary effect permanent. There is no such way to do that in Secret of Mana, to my knowledge. Yeah. The fun thing about Secret of Evermore being so similar to Secret of Mana is that it's entirely and completely different engines. Like, Secret of Evermore is clearly built in the image of Secret of Mana, but the games are entirely separate. They have nothing in common on a mechanical level, unfortunately, for the purposes of glitches and stuff carrying over. Just in case I get a second dragon ring here, it would just be kind of funny. So let me put up the music barrier again. The one thing you can get from a debuff permanently in this game is if you get confused and then you go and save and reload the game, your controls are actually permanently inverted, I think. I could be wrong about that, but I believe that is actually an effect that can happen. And I think that's the only weird permanent effect that you can have in that kind of thing. Also, we need to defeat 50 enemies that give us full weapon experience in order to level up our weapon from level 7 to level 8. Well, I figured we would be reasonably close to that by now. But maybe even not. Once again, Analyzer does disable traps in chests. If the chest is blinking red after you use Analyzer, that means you're not gonna get trapped. Royal Jam won't fit. Shame. I like the music in here. So nice, calm and serene. Quite the opposite of what you technically encounter in the game from the enemies, because almost everything is extremely deadly in here. Like especially the little grey hedgehogs are vicious. And the griffin hands do not lag far behind on the terms of viciousness. So peaceful, and no griffin claws here, yes. I'm actually more afraid of the little hedgehog guys, personally. The reason is actually quite simple. The little hedgehogs can petrify you. And, well, we have established now on how strong petrification is as an effect. They can absolutely just destroy you if they petrify you and just deal a bunch of damage. And unless you get a cockatrice cap from the basilisks earlier, you do not have immunity to petrification. But at least technically there's a way to become immune to petrification with that thing. Hello, welcome to Captain Flukefruits, hope you're doing well. There we go. Actually no, that's a level, isn't it? Yeah, level 48. Come on, lady. There it is, level 8! Our weapon skill is up all the way. Maybe I should have saved earlier, because we did defeat the Thundergigas and they didn't save until we did this grind. Alrighty. I don't know if we have enough resources to defeat the Thunder Dragon over there, but I would guess we do. Luna level 6. Now it's gonna be 7 guaranteed critical hits. And also, unfortunately, I have to switch over to my Weed Whacker. 2000 here again. And then, welcome to this guy. You know what? I've never really tried using defense up, but this other guy just reminded me that I should try this maybe. Maybe we can resist his attack. Are you just staying here? That would be very convenient, not gonna lie. Okay, Lucid Barrier. Prevent the dust from getting hit there. As you can see, this is a nice and wide open arena. But while they are casting a spell, of course, the dragons are just immune. So we need to wait until we get an opportunity to hit them. Maybe like this. Nice. But yeah, this guy is so much easier to hit than the previous clown. I think he might be on high ground. No, he's not. Can't hit him right now until he starts moving again. Weird letter. Nice. This is so much easier than the Fire Dragon. Okay, let's re-establish Lucid Bear. Oh. Pretty mana. This is an excellent time to re-establish Lucid Bear. I'm pretty sure it would run out right there. Then he might cast a spell as he's coming up. But maybe he's gonna use a physical actually. I think from this position he never uses physicals. Also he does have Blitz Breath. So I guess he does use physical because that's technically physical. Nice. The lady just punched straight through him. Fatality. And she just does it again, just for fun. This is the lovely charge attack. They really did give the gloves crazy animation. It's the best part about them. Alrighty, and with this, we have done everything here that I cared to do, so moving on. And the last stretch of the game is upon us. Before we go properly to the end, I will want to see if we can get, like, let's say 3 chests from Wolf Lords. Although it might not be all that great, because we can't use ranged weapons to try and farm them. So I might just go for 1 or 2 chests, but I think at least 1 is in order. To see if we get lucky with the final Bluff Orb. Right. I forgot about this part. The cutscene is slightly wrong because the boy is not in here. We see ghosts of our friends. It's like a dream, I guess. So, for reference, the way Seeker of Mana does cutscene and scrolling in cutscene, it actually grabs one of your characters, or usually it gives control to the boy, and then moves your character across the screen in order to do the scrolling. If you watch the intro cutscenes where you get like that slow scroll across the various environments, technically the game has your character invisible, scrolling across the screen. Or just walking across the screen, and that is what moves the camera because of it. So if you were to actually enable your characters visually again, you would be able to see them just walk in the cutscenes to scroll the screen. The magic rope does that here. Yeah, magic rope gets you back out of a dungeon normally. In this case, out of the dungeon is just to the last, I think, dragon checkpoint. Well, I'm not entirely sure how it exactly works, but it just works in that room, which is more convenient than having to switch over to a weed whacker weapon. Alrighty, the lady and her 2 imaginary friends need to go on one last adventure to defeat an oversized vampire, an oversized slime, an oversized skeleton, and an oversized flammy. It's almost as if everything is just really large relative to us. Fist power at almost maximum. We are kind of lacking one piece of the puzzle. Unless we skipped Metal Mantis earlier, then I would actually be able to go and grab the fist all the way. Jeez, the dialogue. Yep. It's very old dialogue, if you will. Also, we can no longer access any part of the Pure Lands anytime we land in the Pure Lands now, it will actually be next to the broken tree. Kinda makes you wonder, why didn't we just fly there with Flammy to begin with? Would have probably saved us a bunch of bosses along the way. Anyways. Welcome to the final stretch. Alrighty. We're gonna knock out Buffy and Dread Slime, and then we'll probably run back to restock our supplies. And then go for the final area. Well, after we knock over enough Wolf Lords to get a few chests. Welcome to the Mana Fortress. Not a whole lot of crazy stuff in here. And thanks to only having one character, navigating through here is actually significantly easier than it normally is, because we don't have to worry about 3 allies just bumbling around behind us. Yeah, the music in here is amazing. Unfortunately, whenever I'm running, the footsteps actually remove some of the music in the background. Tsunamis. Hi guys. Ow. Ow, stop it. Hi guys. Also, by the way, you might notice, if I wanted to equip the boomerang and the bow, I can't do that. That's because the boy and the sprite had those weapons equipped, and when you jump across a rope pole, the game tries to have them be in the animation for jumping across and never releases it for some reason, or something like that. I mean, the result is basically that I cannot switch the weapons out anymore, even if I wanted to. So good thing I didn't give them the sword and the axe, I guess, because we kinda need that. Most of the enemies are not really worth fighting for us here. I guess the Tsunamis would be a relatively easy experience, all things considered, so maybe that would be one idea. But, well, we're just going to take care of the next boss up here. I believe we can't use Luna weapon, because I believe the vampire inverts the relationship, so we actually heal the vampire and damage ourselves using Luna, because I think that is based on whether a boss or enemy is considered evil type. Hexa being another example where if you try to drain her HP, it inverts the effect. Or maybe I'm thinking of MP absorption. It either inverts HP or MP absorption, one or the other. And zombies do the other part. Anyways. Aww, that cancelled my charge attack, dude. That's just so rude. What if I can hit him? Probably not. Jumping in, thank you. Like sure, well, why are you even trying to hit him while he's going up there? Clearly he is jumping up, but that's not necessarily how the game works all the time, so I figured it was worth trying to hit him while he was jumping up there, because sometimes you can hit enemies that are supposed to be jumping with weapons on the ground anyways. Getting really lucky for Buffy to just jump around, like this is the ideal scenario where he just never does anything aside from keep jumping. Unfortunately my critical hit buff has run out. I'm also a little bit low on HP, so if I make a mistake it could just be over. Right. We get an opportunity to heal. I stay below him on his shadow specifically, just because that way he doesn't move too much. Because he effectively accelerates towards the nearest character whenever he moves around. Okay, I'm slow. This might be... no, it's fine. Jump again. Yeah, with this, probably gonna re-establish Lucid Barrier. Physical damage absorption back online. Funnily enough, Lightsaber actually would be my best option for increasing my damage. Just a little bit. Even though, once again, it doesn't actually do elemental damage. But it does increase my base damage by just a little bit, and the only thing that matters is the level of the weapon spell that I cast for bosses. And it's, well, Lumina happens to be the highest one I have. Even though it literally does nothing else, because it doesn't even have any additional special effects. He's gonna high jump here. I should have used that opportunity to... The thing is, if I cast the buff spell on me for going 3 critical hits, I will get hit by his high jump, which has a high chance of knocking me unconscious. Even though the damage will be absorbed from his physical damage thanks to Lucid Barrier still. Does the level impact damage increase? Level impact damage increase? Oh, we got it. That was a very friendly Buffy. He normally jumps around not nearly as much and just flies instead. The higher level your element is, the more of a like buff you get to your base damage for your weapon. Yes, I assume that's what you're asking. It's not a big increase, it's just a little bit of extra damage. But, well, I can't do anything else anyways, might as well use that. Alrighty, so... You thought it was just duration? It is also how many hits you get. It actually is not a timer in this game, it's the amount of hits you get for your weapon. Alright, so... Now, this is the place if we were to go and farm. For Wolf Lords, we wanna be here, hit this guy once, and then hope that we on the way back get another Wolf Lord on the left side. Oh no. We're fine. But I will probably just farm them on the way back, I think, if I do that. Also, there's no more things to whack out of the way. Oh, we can try to hit this one. Nice. Chest? No chest for me. We're farming for at least one Wolf Lord chest. Depending on how lucky we get, maybe I'd go for a second or even a third one. Just because that gives us a slight chance of getting the final blood upgrade. We don't need it, it would just be fun to have in a punch-only run. Alrighty, so... This is actually gonna be quite dangerous coming up here. But one of the nice things about the upcoming boss is that he doesn't do physical attacks at all, so Lunar Boost is only an upside with 25% increased damage. The downside is that we want to use Wall. Wall reflects 2 spells at level 0. Welcome to Dread Slime. This guy is actually quite dangerous. Because on a solo character challenge run, he has the potential to just wipe you by repeatedly casting Acid Storm too quickly for you to be able to do anything in the meantime. The Acid Storm does reduce his defenses, but at least the lady actually has a way to combat the Acid Storm. Because she now can repel the Acid Storm spells. And I guess it also adds a little bit of extra damage to it, which is nice. But as you can see, he just spams Acid Storms frequently. So we want to just keep at wall, because he can literally stun lock us to death with Acid Storm. It has happened before. Also, we're not hitting at all. Are you... Can I not hit you right now? Why not? Is your elevation wrong? Maybe Snowman's Land Boy is actually impacting one last boss. Because this definitely would hit normally. Let me see if I can hit him maybe with Javelin here. Okay, Javelin worked. Oh no, I was not helping. Okay, we're fine. Lucky. Again, he can just stun knock me if he feels like it. I can't punch him. That's annoying. That is very annoying. By the way, he never runs out of mana. He's like one of two bosses that, as part of the area script, refill their own mana. I can't hit him. I didn't account for that. Like, technically he will knock himself out eventually, but he has like... He has a lot of HP. Way too much. He is unpunchable right now. Let's just say the lady is punching back the Acid Storm. Every single droplet she's just punching back. Does charging up the glove not work? No, it's the same concept. The glove charged up should not be a ranged attack. Well, say that. The problem actually is more in the vein of I don't have enough time to charge up my weapon pack. Because I will need to keep refreshing wall. Oh! Why does the charge attack work? Is this actually a ranged attack, like the jumping kicks? Was our damage just not high enough? I would be very surprised, but it's possible. Also, I lost count again. I hope this is... Nope, I messed up. On hitboxes? Actually, the hitbox is fine in this. Let me tell you, I definitely hit. I know that for a fact. But it is possible that maybe the flying attacks do in fact have a ranged portion to them. Like, normally, that very first instance of the attack should have been the one dealing damage right there. But it didn't hit until, like, the third strike from the lady just now. So this actually might be genuinely considered a ranged attack when she's doing the flying kicks. I'll need to ask Mop about that. Or Neggers. Maybe I didn't need to use Pyrobricking on the previous guy. Also, by the way, he always just moves towards the character's position that is the furthest away from the center. But there's only one character, so he just always moves to where the lady is exactly. 1, 2... Yeah, it's the jump. The jump actually hits. Despite height difference, because it's a jump attack. That's wild. Wow. Okay. Hold up, I need to ask in the Secret Mana Random Discord for now. Alrighty. Well, let's see whether they might have information about that. Okay, well, that's crazy. That's mind-blowing. See, you keep learning new stuff if you just do silly things with the game, evidently. Also, by the way, did you know that the wall repelling spells has a maximum range? Because my wall might still be active right now, I actually don't know. But the enemy was too far away for it to get repelled. Actually, it was not active there, because they would have received the Stone Saber. Alright, we're looking to farm some wolf lords here, I suggest. I actually don't know how dangerous this is with a soil cactus to try and farm wolf lords, because I've never really done that before. Maybe I should go for an armor upgrade first, because at least that one's more likely. Chest. But this is the location where, in a 100% run, I tend to farm for the claw orb. Back this guy. We also want to move this camera all the way to the side, so the wolf lord on the left also spawns. Because he's just basically barely out of reach of the camera, so he can spawn there if you move it all the way to the right. Jump attacks are actually given height, that's kinda sick. At least that's my conclusion right now. I mean, it is technically possible we were just getting unlucky with our hits there, although I would say it's very unlikely. I suppose your other theory, maybe that we didn't deal enough damage to punch through the Dreadline's defense, might also be valid instead. But then again, the first attack from the series of punches should have hit then as well in that case though. So I would argue it's reasonably unlikely. Also, I'd like to point out, getting the wolf lords to spawn is normally actually quite annoying. Like, it's very precise to try and get that to work. Oh, I might be dead here. Getting lucky. Let's... Ooh. Hopefully the wolf lord doesn't come down, because I can't do anything right now. There's an accessory that gives you immunity to being engulfed in flames, but I think you need to get it as a rare drop. Yeah, the hit... Exactly, the hit was delayed, so it definitely looked like it wasn't the first hit. Now I'm kind of wondering what other weapon charges might have similar properties. Maybe the Flying Spear also has like these kind of properties. It's my favorite attack, the level 7 charge attack with the spear. Where you just fly across the screen. With it is great. I could also give myself wall here, so we are not getting accidentally engulfed in flames. This lasts for 3 hits. 2 plus your level. I don't remember how the distribution works when you multi-target it on multiple party members though. Also, I'm kind of curious. My theory as to why these guys cast Cure Water even if they're at maximum HP is because my theory is that they once had more maximum HP. And then during testing and developing the game, they nerfed the amount of HP they have. Ow. This is a problem. But yeah, my theory is that they once had more maximum HP, and then they didn't give them an AI to compensate. Like, they would heal themselves when they drop below half, but they never actually adjusted those values, is my guess. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just my theory. Ooh. Let's leave. We should be fine. I'm pretty sure I still have wall up. Yeah, we do. I just cured the wolf. Casting place wall. Let's leave. This is dangerous. Let's go and at least save after we completed that red slime battle. There's a barrier up. Okay, we should be largely safe now. Wrong button. I need a sword. Or an axe. Both work. I think the sword has a better swing. Although the axe sometimes knocks out these pillars in one swing. But I think it's kind of the same properties that also causes the lady and the sprite to sometimes hit enemies twice. I'm so tempted to try and jump through the wall to the right here. Because you can't technically do that, but I feel like I'm gonna get stuck if I try. Then I have to reset, which would be very inconvenient. Okay, I think there's a Wolf Lord spawn in here. If I'm not mistaken. But we didn't get it. Alrighty, we made it out. Let's go and restock and get at least one Wolf Lord chest. If we get the orb, we're gonna go outside and upgrade. If we don't, we're just gonna continue on afterwards, I think. Trying to find a place. Actually, no, from here is fine. Where we can buy fairy nuts. Not too far from the end, indeed. Just trying to see if I can get a lucky claw orb before we leave. That thunder transferred all the way to your house? That seems terrifying. Well, I hope you don't have a gigantic floating fortress above your head now. But if you do, make sure to play the drums really loud, so you can go and extinguish it. Texas weather is so weird. Are there no clouds, or is that just thunder out of nowhere? Yes, Brunt, welcome to you. Hope you're doing well today. So I'm pretty sure the axe actually one-shots these things. If the radiant is right. Maybe if the bullet too. I think when you're facing up against these pillars, it just does that. There's enough rain and it pours. Tasty rain. Oh, who was it? Thank you for adding the clip to my question in the Discord. It's nice that I appreciate it. I assume that's you at least. Alrighty. Let's re-establish petrification attacks, reducing enemies' HP by half before we hit to this. Punch, he gets fucked. High chance of him just being dead. And we get a chest. Alrighty. We might go for a second one if we feel like it. Actually, we might not have a high enough analyzer level, now I think about it. Yeah, we do not have a high enough analyzer level. What level is it? Isn't it like level 7? Analyzer to get these chests? Let me actually double check. Because level 7 would be a really long time away. Let's see. Wolf Lord. What is level 8 actually? Whoa. Okay. We need level 8 in order to disarm those traps. That is too far away. Or alternatively, if we have 72 agility, we have 47. It's gonna be a 50-50 whether we get a trap or not. If we get a trap, we go for one more chest. I would like to have at least one item from these chests. Could you stop that, please? That's just annoying, buddy. Right. 50-50 trap, but here's the thing, it could be deadly trap, which can one-shot us. However, if you have Lucid Barrier active and you get the deadly trap, it will actually not kill you because it's physical damage and it gets absorbed. Doom Trap, let's demonstrate. We get the 1 HP instead. Arguably 1 HP is more dangerous because, well, the Flame Wall can deal 1 HP damage to us. Or Blaze Wall. Let's go for a second chest. I'd like to have at least, if nothing else, the common drop from these guys, which I think is a fairy ring. Is that right? No, is it? What is the ring? It is a fairy ring. Okay. I don't remember what status immunities the fairy ring is, which I think it does give some. I might have missed this one. Missed again. Hit that guy. No chest door. 1 in 16 drop rate for a chest, by the way. Or 4 in 64 if you want to be precise. Sometimes you just hit. There we go. Yeah, that guy hit me like twice or 3 times even, with that one attack right there. This is a large reason as to why these wolves are so dangerous. They can do that. If he had an elemental weapon equipped, that would be straight up dead there. Because that would increase his damage enough to actually just destroy me. Although he might get stopped by getting healed in his flurry of attacks. Fun enough. Alright, come over here, buddy. Good job. We need more crits. Level up. Level 51. And establish this again. Oh my goodness, I just remembered I should also put up the other chat. Hello everybody, on the YouTube side as well. Solo Girl seems pretty wild. You're like a Final Fantasy Red Mage. A little bit. Also, that comment was more than an hour ago. I'm so sorry. I'm reading it now. First time catching a stream. Good luck with the run. Last Secret of Mana. Thank you. I'm glad you enjoyed that. And welcome everybody. Sorry, I tend to see a bit bad at reading chat, especially when I forget to put my spreadsheet back into the background and the chat happens to be not present. My bad. But yeah, I'm also streaming on YouTube in case anyone's curious. A large reason for that is quite simply because Twitch no longer has the option for you to save your highlights and stuff indefinitely. So I have to export it over to YouTube anyways. And if I just stream it on YouTube, then that just solves that problem entirely. Technically it would be ideal if I were to cut the VODs at least a little bit, where we trim out the pauses and the initial start and maybe the ending too. So it would be a little bit more easy to watch later after the fact. But at least it's there for you guys to watch if you feel like watching this some other time later. It's the main reason I'm streaming to YouTube, just for posterity, if you will. And who knows, maybe some people are gonna find my playthroughs of this and join our little corner of the internet too, thanks to it. That'll be kind of fun. I believe there's been some people that came specifically because they saw my stuff over on the YouTube side of things. Nice hit. Hit that guy too. And didn't get anything. On average, every 8 resets here, we see one chest. But, well, we still need to get lucky that we don't get a trap. I messed up. Okay, that guy didn't heal himself. How nice of you. Okay, I think that guy's dead now. He isn't. Surprising. Nice hit. He might just be done. Didn't see the petrification message though. He was, but didn't actually one-shot him. Yeah, this is so much easier with just one character to reliably spawn the Wolf Lords. Normally when you have two allies trailing behind you, it's so much more difficult to get the movement for the Wolf Lords to reliably spawn. Because your characters get delayed a little bit. Oh, I might be dead here. Your characters get delayed a little bit, and it just takes a while, and it's a bit of a mess. I'm not dead. Good news, everybody. You need mana. Also, this is the first time we have more than 50 mana, so none of our MP is now wasted. Which is nice too. Hello, welcome to Richter. I hope you're doing well today. Attack was way too early. And I'm pretty sure he was invulnerable there when I tried to hit him the second time. But that's silly of me. He was afraid, he was petrified. Wow. I promise these guys do not have any more evasion than any other enemy. Sometimes you just get unlucky with your hits. Even though it would be kind of fun for the karate werewolves to have higher evasion. Did you not? In this game, enemies either have evasion or they don't. And it's just a flat chance, more or less. Well, it's a chance based on your agility to miss or not. My goodness. That might be bad. This could be really bad. Stop. We're dead. Getting knocked backwards is so bad in this game. When you're facing away from the enemy and you get knocked into them and they just combo you. Well, good thing we went outside to save. Rip stun lock indeed. I was kind of hoping to keep the levels from this little excursion, but evidently not. We still need to get one chest. Just one. One chest that is not trap specific. So I guess Lucid Barrier persists through save files. Elemental weapons don't. Oh, there's a wolf lord here. Might as well try to punch him. This might be bad. And we missed. Oh, we can move it. Stop! By the way, the wolves don't even like balloons. You can't crowd control them with balloons either. Lunar boost. You know what? That removes your evasion. I'm quite content with that. No chest from this one. The axe is not nearly as good when whacking to the left and the right. Only upwards is where it ends up being better than the sword. For strange reasons, I guess. Alright, we're back. We're back for some more werewolves. No, not Moonsaber. I meant to... I'm so used to the correct spell being already pre-selected that I didn't think that after you reload the save, it's back to the default selection. Wolflore gets whacked. Good news. And he's actually done. And the second one as well. Alrighty. Continuing on. 3 so far. No chest. You have re-arrived. Welcome back. Enjoy your ramen. Or maybe the Rabadate enjoys your ramen. That's fine. Let's lose the barrier back up. This time I'm gonna be a little bit more diligent about that. 7 wolves, no chests. Nine wolves, no chest. How many hours do you of this song do you think have you been listened to over the years? You spent so much time here. Well, you probably listened to this song for longer than most people play the game for, I would guess. As to how much that exactly is, no clue. A lot. I'm still not tired of the song. Too bad I missed. That guy though. Oh, no Blaze Balls, please. No Blaze Balls, please. Blaze Balls are removed from my petrification weapon, by the way. Because being engulfed in flames evidently is the equivalent of equipping a weapon. Just a very fiery weapon. Stop! I have to use Remedy. I can wall up, but the spell is not gonna get bounced back in time. My goodness. And Acid Storm too. I figured that's what's gonna be happening there. No, I'm a dingus. Ah! The Acid Storm reduced my defenses even though I denied the damage from it, by the way. Which is why the wolf hit a bit harder than usual. Ah well. Happy punching time. Happy getting punched time this time around, apparently. Welcome to you. Hope you're doing well today. Now we're walking back. Or running. Depends on your viewpoint, I guess. Honey, I'm back. What do you mean we have still 4 rail jam in the backpack? Sure. I don't know, there was a clever joke in there somewhere, but I didn't quite get it. Let's try again. I punched this guy. You know what, I'm just gonna keep punching the same guy until that one goes down, and then we go over to grab the other one. Or maybe he just comes over here, because as long as we don't get harassed by additional blaze walls, I guess we are usually fine handling them. Usually. Okay, I'm gonna leave. I'm not sticking around here. I've done that before. Alright. I guess just sticking to the right hand side here is the solution then. And then just don't make mistakes. So much dance. Vagabot joining in as well. knows the punches are coming, so he tries to preemptively heal. Unfortunately for enemies, that doesn't really work for them. Getting a bit unlucky with the chest drops here though. I actually wonder if you can reasonably manipulate chest drop RNG. Probably not, because I think RNG tends to be frame based. Truth be told, I'm not entirely sure about that. We're definitely way past 16 now. This is why I walked down, because I expected this guy to come dancing across. Metal Crawley. Nice, hit all of them. Oh, we didn't actually spawn the second one. Come on, buddy. Pattern on the big bridge. I just punch you once. Maybe twice. Not a second time yet. There we go. Still not easy. Probably should re-establish Lucid Barrier at this point. Still nothing. Level up again. You hope when you pass away you explode into a pile of dry bones like that. That would be terrifying, I will say. If that's what you want, sure. But please make sure you're nowhere near me. Because that sounds scary. I messed up entirely. that one. No chest for me. Come on, I'm not trying to level here, game. I'm trying to get one drop that is not a trap. We already got one chest, but that chest was trapped. You need level 8 analyzer in order to untrap chests. Or 72 agility. Neither of which we had. So it seems more pragmatic to, you know, go for another chest and just hope that we get lucky with the 50-50 instead. My goodness, that has not paid off so far at all. How far away are you from level 8 analyzer? Well, to put it into perspective, it is 50 spell casts from level 7 to 8 alone. 34 to level 6. And our analyzer spell right now is... 4. Point 10, I guess. So actually quite far. Admittedly, spamming out analyzer is one of the easiest things to do in the game. So we could definitely have reached analyzer level 8 by now instead of resetting, but you don't really account for getting terrible drop luck, do you? You just kind of think, yeah, it's reasonably rare, but it's also reasonably common. 1 in 16 isn't too terrible. It's gonna happen sometime. Plus, I was also thinking that, hey, worst case scenario, I just get a bunch of extra levels along the way, which also is going to be nice for the final set of bosses. Except for the part where we already died twice, because this place turned out to be dangerous. Who would have thunk? Well, I did. Wow. Missed again. Stop missing, lady. You're gonna get murdered if you keep doing that. Missing is so bad here. Okay, we're leaving. Blaze walls are just gonna murder me if I don't leave. We've already tried that one. Save the frogs. It's all one word, no spaces. Good try. Good luck. But yes, frogs are friends, not food. Please don't put them in the food box. Yeah, thank you for saving the frogs. We leveled up again. We're back to level 53. I think we've been here before. Where are the other two? Can you delete them somehow? Yes. We have deleted them. Permanently. We sent them to Snowman's Land. We did that yesterday if you'd like to go back and watch that one. But in short, when you push against an enemy into the top right direction, as a snowman, snowmans do not have animations for pushing, and the game just executes garbage data, which happens to delete the character that is pushing if you go in the top right corner. I've never seen the bug. Yeah. It's very rare for it to just naturally happen, but it has been known to happen to some people in the past. There we go, my goodness. Second chest, that is like 40 wolves later before a 1 in 16 drop. We unfortunately still don't have the analyzer level, so this is gonna be 50-50 chance to be trapped. If you use Lucid Barrier, the instant death of the trap will actually never kill you, because it is physical damage. So we absorb it. Let's see. Why do you get a Ferris ring? Alrighty. We got an item. And I suppose it's an upgrade. Actually, that's not true. Funnily enough, this is not in fact an upgrade for us. Sure, the Ferris ring has more defense. 10 defense is a decent bit. But the problem is the gauntlet gives +5 strength. So we don't even want that thing. Also, I think the Ferris ring gives you +5 intelligence, I believe, which is the sprite's offensive spellcasting stat. Alright, we're going outside, save, resupply, and then it is time for the end game. Maybe we knock out some Terminators along the way. See if we get lucky for an armor upgrade, because the armor actually would be useful. Rude. I'm a Moogle. Cool. Moogles, famously of course, cannot swing swords. So we can't whack our way through these green pellets. I don't know what that's supposed to be. I know Mog would actually disagree about not being able to swing swords, but when I think of Mod, I think of jumping with spears. For some reason. Alrighty, we made it out. Let's go back, restock, reload, save, and then one final push into... I wanna almost say Death's Domain. I guess the Dark Lich, I suppose, is kinda close to that. No lucky Sword or, well, Wolfork for us though. Save the game, yes please. Welcome back to the Mana Fortress for hopefully one final time. Alrighty, we're gonna just knock out the wolves along the way, just one final time. Just for fun. And... nothing gained. Aside from a little bit of experience and money, I suppose. Okay, the book wasn't naughty today, so that's nice. We don't have to censor the stream. And I think that's the last time we need to use the whip. Master Ninjas. I forget what the drop is. What's the Master Ninjas drop again? Ow. Good. Well, thank you, Falcon. Appreciate it. And give it a good luck. So this guy has Lucid Barrier, and that means he's gonna absorb a lot of the physical damage we're gonna throw his way. So we need to do charge attacks to deal any damage at all, because these also have really high defenses, and the glove notoriously is like the lowest power weapon overall. It's a bit annoying. The other one of these guys are not particularly dangerous, relatively speaking. But we do not want to knock out the Terminators, because that would be an armor upgrade, I think. Hey, might as well give it another try for the wolves too. What did the Master Ninjas drop? I forget. Was it the Fairy's Crown, I think? I think it was the Fairy's Crown. So technically that would also be an armor upgrade. But I'm not gonna mess with Master Ninjas, because these guys can critically hit for 999 damage. And while I do currently have Lucid Barrier established, it's not necessarily guaranteed that we would be able to handle them anyways. There's 3 Terminators in this room, well, when all 3 of them load in anyways. And, well, we have just one right now. We can just keep charging our attack, and I actually don't know if we can punch through his Lucid Barrier like this. I think it always absorbs at least 1 hit, even though the amount of damage it deals relevant, but also the amount of hits you do can be relevant. And he has evasion, so a little bit annoying. There we go, 1 Terminator done. Let's clean up this room here real quick. I say real quick, but these tsunamis like to multiply. Okay. Shoutouts to the Whimper that taught little Yagamoth the word ignore. Because I've never seen or heard the word ignore before, but the German strategy guide tells you that you best ignore these guys. And that's how I learned that word as a kid. Why do you best ignore them? I have no idea. Oh, we even got a chest. Alrighty. The common drop is what we want from these. We do not want the rare drop, because the rare drop is a whip orb. So 7 in 64 times we get the whip orb by accident. But also 50-50% of the time we get a trap instead, so... Shadow Zero! Well, that's even better. Alright, that is the rare trap. The Shadow Zero is the rare trap. On top of that, there is a rare Shadow Zero, where it gets stuck in the lid instead of hopping back into the chest. That's kind of fun that we have seen that one. With this good German strategy guide also I think that it's actually really good, yes. The German strategy guide for Lufia, well, what you know as Lufia too, and Sigurd of Mana, they had fantastic illustrations overall. Can recommend you take a look at those if you have never seen those. Anyways, time to go and punch a big, annoying skeleton. And look, she's already doing the punching. Excellent. Alrighty, welcome to the Dark Lich. He has 6,660 HP. I think it's 60, or is it 66? I don't remember. Anyways, it's a ton of HP. And he always alternates between using a physical attack like a laser beam or balloon ring or sleep ring, or then he alternates using spells as well sometimes. We could try to bounce back the spells, although that prevents me from healing myself or giving myself buffs back, but maybe it's still worth it, so we can charge up our punching. You think it is 6,666? Sounds possible. Let's enjoy the music. Right, this is 3 spells repelled. Leaden Glare? It's fine. Now he's gonna cast a spell, freeze or... Well, he can also technically disappear, but that's a different thing. No. Unfortunately, we missed the attack. Of course, he still has a chance to just resist. Oh yeah, I'm a dingus. I just gave him Lucid Barrier. Because I forgot that I can't buff myself there. Poison, yes. Well, he can also disappear if he feels like it. You can punch the head here during this phase, and if you are particularly well aligned in the exact middle of him, you can actually even get him into an AI loop. So, he's trying to attack us with his hands, but I am exactly in the middle of him. Which means he cannot actually hit us with his hands. But as you can see, my regular attacks deal 0 damage because he has too much physical defense. Unless I land critical hits or charge attacks, we actually don't punch past his defense. Now the thing is, I'm not convinced that we are in the exact middle, so let me use a barrel for this. Okay, we are in the exact middle. He is now stuck here. Sometimes he can escape from this, and if he does, his physical attacks with his hand is actually pretty dangerous, to say the least. But theoretically, we can just sit here now. So this is not technically a glitch, it's just a very short AI loop, where we are, well, exactly far enough away from both hands for them to never trigger the attack. And consequently, he does that. So, he's basically just in an AI loop where he thinks, oh, I'm too far away, let me go up. Oh, I'm too far away, let me go down. Oh, I'm too far away, let me go up, etc. So, this is not considered a glitch for the speedrunning purposes. Although, in a glitchless run, I don't know if I actually even worry about that. Do you use physical attack in a glitchless run? I think it's just spam spells. Nice hit. I mean, we get to charge up our attacks for once, for massive damage, and I think that's reasonably satisfying. I just need to not unleash a level 6 charge attack. Level 6 charge attack would be a bad idea. Oh, we're out of mana. Okay. If the player's higher up, move down. If the player's lower down, move up. Yes, this is literally the only AI it has. He cannot move left and right for the purposes of trying to get to us. And just like this, he is rather low. How low are you? One more hit. Dark Lich fears Lumina. That is technically true. Lumina deals extra damage to him. That's not really worth casting anyways. Because Lucent Beam costs 8 MP. It's just not economical to use Lucent Beam. Unless you're level 99 anyways. What about the level 8 attack? This is the level 8 attack. I think. Alrighty, and the question frequently comes back up, so I like to mention it every time. How do you defeat the Mana Beast without the Mana Sword? Well, in short, you don't need the Mana Sword to defeat the Mana Beast. The main problem about the Mana Beast is actually that it just has really ridiculously high defenses. Like, the Dark Lich has good defenses, like, what, 150 or so? Or 100? To put that into perspective, the Mana Beast has like 4.5 times as much, with 450 defense. So all damage we deal is reduced by 450. However, thanks to guaranteed critical hits, our baseline damage is also consequently increased. And critical hit damage is actually added after defense subtraction, so we can still hit 999 damage thanks to that. There is, however, one conundrum that we are facing against the Mana Beast, and that is the Mana Beast. I'm not sure if you ever battled this for long enough to see it. The Mana Beast can theoretically cast Lucent Beam repeatedly on us and stun lock us until we die. If we get hit by Lucent Beam, that is a very real possibility of happening. You might think, oh, just cast walls or Lucent Beam gets repelled. Well, if you have wall on any of your characters, the Mana Beast will cast Dispel Magic on you, which also dispels my elemental weapon. Anyways, in the first cycle this is not that big of a deal. Well, but for the first attack it's not that big of a deal, but if I want to play it absolutely safe, what I need to do, I need to only attack the Mana Beast once per cycle, and then pick me my character. Because when you have a pick me character, also Lucid Barrier, just absorbs the damage. If I have a pick me character, the amount of time I get stunned by getting hit is significantly lower, consequently dramatically increasing my chance of surviving a Lucent Beam spam. Right, that was 886 damage. Mana Beast and 9990 HP. So, playing it safe, you become small. Just because if you're small, if you get hit, you don't get that knockback animation and then have the slow getting up thing. Lucent Beam. Ooh. Ow. Okay, we would survive another one, but as you can see, that is a problem. Also, what's a problem here too is if I'm not careful, I can actually knock myself out by being minute while the Mana Beast is doing a physical attack, flying by the flamethrower as well as the fly-in at the end. All of these are considered physical attacks and can be absorbed by Lucid Barrier. However, they also have the notorious problem where if I'm minute because I'm trying to have an increased chance of surviving Lucent Beam spam, those attacks would actually deal substantial damage to us all of a sudden, because we have reduced defense. I think that's 992 damage right there. Couldn't quite tell. But if you'd like to keep track, that is 2 hits. If you deal absolutely max damage with every attack, it only requires 10 hits in order to defeat the Mana Beast. However, the glove just doesn't have quite enough attack power to be able to do that. I'm actually gonna use a chocolate here, just to heal up. And I managed to open up the menu before I get hit this time. If I happen to manage to open the menu after the animation hits, but before the damage applies, I can use an item on myself in order to cancel the damage. So, now we do the same thing. Establish Lucid Barrier, so we can charge up with impunity. In fact, what I'm also gonna do here for once, let me use Defender. This increases my defense by 25%. And it actually might mean that we absorb the physical hits here entirely without taking any chip damage at the end. Maybe. Yep, no damage. Unfortunately, we also have a chance to miss, but in this case, it just took a while for the Mana Beast to be close enough to get hit to begin with. Right, hit number 3. We probably need at least 11 hits if not 12. I used to Pygmy Hammer once to cancel the damage, and the second time to Pygmy myself immediately again. Okay, this is far enough interface. Technically what you can do is, if you are brave, you can keep charging up your attack in order to hit the mana beast the second time per cycle. But ever since I got just knocked out entirely because of Lucent Beam spam, I'm kind of weary of doing that. We don't need the Mana Sword to save the world, Punches will do, yeah. When I first played Secret of Mana, when we got to the Mana Beast, we did as the game told us. We cast Tamada Yin and Yang spells onto the boy's sword in order to unleash the sword. But we never leveled up Dryad and the other characters, so the Yin Yang spell just lasted like 5 seconds, and we didn't realize that. So we thought, oh, we activated the sword now, so we can deal damage. But the only way we could deal damage was actually just charging up our weapons all the way. And I didn't know about the guaranteed critical hits from Luna back then. Saving the world by bare knuckle boxing the Mana Beast. Something like that. Also, using the Mitch Mana right there also prevents the damage. But then again, I wanted to lose the barrier anyways. I do kind of like the idea of using Defender up as well. I could also use elemental weapons to increase my base damage just a little bit, which actually would potentially push us over the edge to deal max damage to the Mana Beast even with the gloves. Defender didn't save it this time. 971 damage, I think it was. Time person. What I could do is I could cast Wall on myself, and then the Mana Beast's next spell is guaranteed to be Dispel Magic instead of Lucent Barrier or Lucent Beam. Ooh. Making that a bit safer. Right, we're good to go. Wound Saber, so you stop the charge attack after hitting. I mean, it would be an option, but then we would not get to see the fun animations, I would argue. We can use Lightsaber. It is level 6 or 2 as well, so this is fine. By knocked out, do you mean knocked off the platform? Just disabled from moving from some kind of I just mean disabled. You can't get knocked off this platform. There is no such mechanic in this game. You're stuck on this little platform no matter what. Knocked over, I don't know how much damage it was, probably just another 870. Knocked over, I mean just like the character getting knocked over on their back. Because that's the animation that happens when you take 25% or more of your maximum health in damage in one hit. So your character gets knocked backwards on the floor and takes a second or two to get back up afterwards. So that's kind of what I'm referring to there. By the way, opening up the menu after the animation happens, but before you get hit, is a very tight window of opportunity. And you actually have 1 frame less of leeway if you try to do so on the lady or the sprite. With the boy, it's pretty reliable, the way I'm doing it, but occasionally I will still get hit here, so this is by no means guaranteed for me to be able to avoid the damage there. Also, why am I not charging up my attack? Oopsie. Spacing out here. That's see if we have enough time for this. I think we do. Also, we've gotten 635 damage. We've gotten really lucky that we haven't missed so far with our physical attack, just always hit. Fun fact, the best boomerang to use for a solo character challenge run of the lady. Did I just say the best boomerang? Anyways, the best weapon to use as a solo character challenge run of the lady is the boomerang, because it hits twice with various charge attacks. Technically, the javelin specifically, I think level 5 was it? Level 5 or level 6 also can hit enemies twice. But because the boomerang can hit twice, so it has 2 different attack hitboxes at the same time, you can hit the mana beast twice. It's pretty good. The best boomerang is the boomerang, yes. What about glitching the mana sword early? The boomerang is still better, actually, because you can hit twice. Okay, first time we missed. Immediately into a laser beam. The mana sword is nice because it guaranteed hits. That's one of its innate properties. It never misses. It also increases all your stats by 5, so that also helps for a bit of extra damage. Want the sword to do max damage without charging? No, actually. If you glitch the mana sword is just a really strong weapon. It's twice as strong as any other weapon. But unless you have critical hits, so to speak, you don't deal max damage because you deal 999 damage minus 450 from the... So you deal about 550 damage on average with your swings when you just do not critically hit. But also, even if you guarantee critical hits, it deals 999 damage, guaranteed with the mana sword, so that's nice. But it's actually not automatically stronger, you can't just swing. Unless you actually cast the mana spell, you don't actually get the increased attack power for the mana sword. There's like a strange mechanic where the mana sword gains additional attack power based on all of your other weapons' levels. So, effectively, you need to get, like, what was it? 8.5 levels worth of other weapons in order to deal max damage with the mana sword, which just swings. Ooh. I don't have crits anymore. Yeah, you need the mana sword spell in order to get the extra damage out of it. So, the boy is actually the only one who can technically get that. But the funny thing is, because of how the speedruns end up working, in a speedrun, for Seeker of Mana, the glitchless speedrun actually has a significantly faster mana beast fight on average than the one played 2 controller one. Because you can just swing with the boy as long as you set up your weapon damage properly. And you will just heal 550, 550, 550 damage, or even critical hits if you want to use lucid attacks as well. Although I think the modern glitchless speedruns don't actually go all the way to 999 damage for the mana sword, because that's overkill. Nice, 904. I have no idea where we are in terms of damage right now. Lucent Beam. Didn't hit me. You know what? I'm only going to use this opportunity to heal up. So I can't do anything here because I'm in the middle of an animation, so I will get hit. And I can get hit again. So this is the dangerous part about Lucent Beam. It was late enough into that cycle that I wasn't worried about Lucent Beam actually like murdering me there, because the Mana Beast was always gonna fly away before that could actually happen in that scenario. But you see the danger of it. It's not terribly common for the Mana Beast to spam it like that to begin with, but it is enough potential for me to just not want to attack more than once per cycle. $935 damage. I have no idea how we are in terms of damage right now. Immediately Lucent Beam. Right. We're good for now. By the way, you can also use the Moogle Belt for it, technically. That's an option. Hey Falcon, welcome. Run is going quite alright, I would say. Welcome. Thank you for the good luck. Alrighty. I'm gonna just heal myself here. Actually, this might still hit me. I'm not sure. It did not hit me. Quick, someone make the Mana Beast full heal instead of full MP every AI. Man, then that would make solo character challenges impossible. Well, maybe with a high enough level the lady could do it with glitching out the Mana Sword early. For swing. Not tied to having to use charge attacks. Good luck. The reason I'm not using the Moogle Belt is because the Moogle status wears off after some amount of time, which is shorter than the Mana Beast, while staking around and potentially murdering you with Lucent Beam. So how fast did it take you to get the 8th Glove Orb in the Mana Fortress? We actually did not get it. I just went for 2 chests. Just to see if I could get one. And we did not end up getting it. But the probability of a chest for each individual Werewolf Lord is 1 in 16, and then it's a 7 in 64 chance to get the red drop from there. What does that make? 7 in 256 or something? Right. We should be reasonably close to winning at this point. Maybe. Okay, we're good for now. Okay. Mini Moogle. You can also mini barrel, by the way. Oh, 7 in 1024 chance, so about 1 in 146 for getting a specific rare drop. Yeah, that's reasonably rare. It feels like it should be somewhere on the next cycle based on time. Alright, that's fine. Eat the last chocolate. We don't need them anymore afterwards. Don't forget the 50-50 trap chance, true. But admittedly, if I were to go for the orb, no matter what, I would be leveling Analyzer high enough to disarm trap. But yes, it would be half the odds if you don't disable the chat boost. And we missed. That's a shame. Let's use a magic rock to get back to the beginning of the Mana Fortress. It doesn't work in here. But that would be a little bit silly if you could do that. Can you use the rope to escape after beating that glitch? No, it does not work in that room. At least I'm pretty sure it does not work in that room. Alrighty. Last hit maybe? There we go. We win. No more numbers show up. The only number remaining is our 1. And split. Also, sorry, Neo Kenshin, I actually didn't see that message until now. We're on the YouTube side of things. I'm trying my best to glance over there, but especially during things where I really need to pay attention, it's tricky. Also, sub 12, I guess. We're gonna get a weird ending. When you delete the boy from your party, the game kind of expects the boy to be present in your party in order to play the ending credits properly, because the way the game actually scrolls in the cutscenes across the area is it gives you, the player, control of the boy, makes it player 1, and then moves the boy across the screen, and the boy actually moving is what moves the camera. But he is not here right now. So the game can't really do that. And consequently, we have the lady just stuck in a purgatory in the middle of invisible walls where she cannot escape. Which is quite a tragedy. She punched and kicked and won, and now she can't leave anywhere anymore. She's just stuck here. Well, maybe we do see her going other places too. Eventually. I guess she just doesn't care about collision. It's fine. The price of doing the impossible is being stuck in the impossible. Indeed. Alright, everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this once in a while excursion of Secret of Mana solo challenges. I've done many of these runs in the past, which is why I was pretty confident that we could easily do it with just punching. We actually might have already done like a punch-only run before, I don't exactly remember. Anyways, our next game that we're going to be playing is an old-school adventure dungeon crawler of sorts. Which one exactly, we haven't quite decided yet. You can still vote in the straw poll for which one you would like to see. The options are Darkstar: Realms of Arcania, which is more of a European-based adventure, so if you'd like to get a look into European old adventure games that are probably reasonably unknown over in the US and such, that could be an interesting thing. Plus, I would be intrigued to play that again, or play that at all at some point. Then the second option is Eye of the Beholder. I think it's kind of like the classic dungeon crawler, but I have to admit, I don't really know anything about it, so that's that. The next option is Might and Magic 3. Please note this is not Heroes of Might and Magic 3, it's not a top-down adventure strategy game. It is where the original series originated from, in Might and Magic. I was told Might and Magic 3 is kind of where the game kind of found its stride, and that's the first really good one. So that's the one we would be playing there. Alternatively, Albion. Albion for DOS is, once again, I think more of a European thing, where think of Super Nintendo era style graphics on old PC and DOS games. And it's an RPG, it's like an adventure game, where you're stranded on an alien planet that has magic and dinosaurs and things that well, actually, anyways, you might see some pictures if you look for Albion for DOS. Anyways, it is an old PC game that could be interesting. What is the hardest run you've done for Secret of Mana? The most difficult one? That's a good question. I mean, arguably the most difficult one that I've completed, you can either say it's the Secret of Mana 100% 0.99 or 100.99% run, where we got all the weapons, including the Mana Sword, up to max and all spells and all characters and everything. Because that took a long time. It's not technically as difficult in terms of execution-wise, as much as it's more of a marathon to get through. Alternatively, individual most difficult run is arguably the sprite-only no magic challenge we did. That one took a while. And yes, my New Year's runs. Secret of Mana 100%. Every New Year, we're gonna have a comfy ride into the New Year. Yeah, I think maybe solo sprite no magic. I attempted the no leveling challenge a while, where enemies and bosses don't give you any experience. Not for weapons, for nothing. And I got to like the Mech Rider 2 before I kinda lost in. I don't actually remember exactly what happened, but that one we have not managed to get particularly far, and I'm pretty sure it's straight up impossible to defeat some of the later bosses with level 1 characters. I also did the 1-player 3 controller one that looked like it wasn't easy. That was a while ago, and yes, that was quite rough on my hands if I remember correctly. By the way, everybody, Secret of Mana actually has a randomized ending screen. You know, the end with the moon and such. We're gonna have either full moon, a crescent moon, or 2/3 of a moon. Which one is random? Which one do you guess is it gonna be? The crescent moon is my personal favorite in terms of just visuals. I just like how it looks. But also the full moon is kinda nice too. So, we have votes for crescent, full moon, gibbous, full moon, full moon. I guess it's called the gibbous moon, where it's like partially full, like 2/3. And today we get a gibbous moon. And that's that. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening and for lurking. I hope you enjoyed your stay. I hope you enjoyed being around. Thank you for accompanying me on this adventure. And well, hopefully until next time. Take care and have a good night. Bye bye.